Hey, what's up guys, it's TBone here. Welcome back to another episode of playing Legendary Game of Heroes. So I've got some decks I wanted to show you, and wanted to start by sharing an idea that a viewer wrote to me in a comment from a previous video and also via the network app. Thanks J. Scott for the tip. The idea is using Endasha to dispel counterattack and to use her passive ability to spawn gems for more damage. So I'm going to start by showing you this deck made purely from support cards and see how they do. We'll be going up against Nidorm with over 300 million health. For relics, since I have 4 different types in here, I'm able to use 4 different relics, and the Light Commander relic boosts all the commander cards. Nidorm casts counterattack, which damages you every time you attack, and the event card that dispels it is the ultra rare card, which won't be accessible by many people. So use Endasha immediately after turn 1, and you'll both dispel the counterattack as well as heal the initial health lost. I also have Libra in the team, which destroys some non-light gems and also heals for a little bit each time you attack. The strategy for this deck is to wait until Endasha activates her passive ability and then activate all the battle skills. With the empowered affinity bonus and the increased attack value, the Sugar Plum Fairies are able to deal over 1 billion damage for overkill, and this is using just a single key. In fact, all of the videos I'm showing here today will be using one key, so if you have the cards, hopefully you can conserve some keys and advance through the bosses easily. Next, I'll be adding in the Nutcracker in the team to show you the proper order of activation. When you have a powered gem spawner in the team, you want to make sure to activate it first. As a nuke dealer, this card doesn't really do much damage once you get higher up in the levels, so you'll be using him mostly for the attack value. The strategy for this team is still the same. You'll want to wait for Endasha to passively spawn gems. Now, unfortunately, that does mean when you activate the Nutcracker, his 4 power gems will overwrite the regular light gems created by Endasha. Next, you activate the 2 Sugar Plum Fairies, and you'll have a pretty good board full of gems here. And then you do a power gem swap, and then you can see that the damage here has gone up by 50%, a little bit more in fact, to over 1.6 billion damage. For my next video, I'll be showcasing the Master Collection card and how to use it. I have to say, I got extremely lucky and was able to craft 2 of them without spending for it. I bought the tier 3 for an extra rune and ended up not needing it, so I'm very happy to be ending the year with a lucky pull. The thing about the Master Collection card is that it has a higher intensity cost than the previous card, Alfonso. It requires 50 light commander intensity, so with 2 supports and a relic with 5 commander cards, you will need to attack for 2 turns to power it up. With Endasha on the team though, since she is Slayer card, you'll be generating only 24 intensity every attack, which means you need at least 3 turns before you can power up the Master Collection card. The nice thing is that with Endasha and Libra on the team, you wouldn't have any issues with getting light gems to match to build up the intensity. And with this particular setup, even if you don't wait for Endasha's passive ability, you can still activate all of the skills. The 6 Power Gem 4s will provide enough damage boost for the team to deal over 3 billion damage using a single key to take down the boss. Next, I'm going to move on to teams that can take out legend bosses with a single key. And the 2 cards that are MVPs here are Solus, which fully heals and delays 2 turns, as well as Primal Guardian, who creates Power Gem 2s based on creature intensity. The best way to boost the new card meta are to use cards that can create lots of power gems, so if you have this card, you should definitely use it. However, the issue with using a single key is the lack of health and the need to build up intensity. This is where Solus becomes extremely useful. Another key element to this setup is the fact that Sugar Plum Fairy reduces damage taken by 20%. This is actually very significant and what allows this setup to work as well as it does. This damage reduction is enough for you to survive an extra turn, which is very useful because this team requires you to build up creature intensity and it requires more turns. You want to activate Sugar Plum immediately on turn 1 and then focus on matching light gems so that you also build up light commander intensity to power up the Master Collection card. With this setup, you'll want to keep a close eye on your health and how much damage the boss is dealing. Once your health is low enough, activate Solus to fill up your health bar and get 2 additional turns to build up your creature intensity. You can see here that we're already at 120. And at this point, it's best to just take advantage of the additional turns and to use as many turns as possible. The reason I keep stressing on increasing turns is because you're gaining 2 Power Gem 2s every turn you build up here, which will continue to add up your overall damage near the end. So at the end here, I'm able to deal 40 billion damage with the Power Gems match, which is close enough to the amount needed for legend bosses even at level 300. Now let's talk about what you need to do if you have multiple Master Collection cards. This is currently my setup, with 2 support cards and a Light Commander relic, 2 Master Collection cards, and a Primal Guardian. The cost of the intensity count is now at 100, in order to use both cards at the same time, and with my setup, it will take 4 total turns. At level 247 though, the legend boss will start hitting hard enough that it cannot last the 4 turns required to get my intensity up to 100. It deals 21,000 damage each time, so in order to survive, I need to activate both of the support cards right away to get a reduction of 36% damage over 2 turns. That gives me enough health to stay alive for 4 turns and power up all of my cards. Keep in mind though, it's very important that you match light gems every single turn or you won't get the maximum damage required. If possible, look for hard gems to heals as well. Sometimes the extra health can make a big difference, so look for opportunities to give yourself a little bit more breathing room. Played this way, the board won't be completely full of power gems, but the team is able to deal over 50 billion damage with a single key, as long as you can keep up with the light gem matches. Those were just some of the possible decks which could use, and I wanted to close by saying that there are a lot of other cards which could work as well, but I didn't have time to showcase them all. Hopefully the decks I did show will help give you some ideas to explore as well with good success. I also hope that if you have the cards I showed but didn't know that you were able to take on legend bosses with a single key, that you can start doing it now. That's all for today's episode. As always, leave a comment and let me know your thoughts. Take care, enjoy the rest of 2018, and I'll see you in the new year. Cheers.